thanks for being so open and opening the kimono a little bit and letting us into the business and helping us understand a little bit.
That expression.
What do you mean you don't get it?
I don't get it when they say open the kimono.
It's reveal. It
It feels like what a flasher does.
It is what a flasher does.
Why is it said in a positive way?
It's because you're getting behind the scenes. You're seeing the junk.
I know, but ew. Gross. I always just think it's like the guy who's like, hey, you want any sundials?
Listen, ladies, you're both pretty, okay?
This is the Snowball Effect.
Welcome to the Snowball Effect podcast, where we're going to bring enterprise-level tools and talent to a local small business to help them grow. Our very first episode, I'm so excited. My name's Todd, and I'm the CMO here at Snowball, and we are going to be helping a local business with their marketing and their growth. And the business is Studio Z, and I'm really excited. It's a local barbershop right around here, and I'll be introducing them to you in just a second. But before I do that, I want to introduce my co-hosts. So first and foremost, Christian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I am the COO at Snowball, so I got to work with these fine gentlemen every day. And, we are super invested in helping companies grow. So this podcast being focused on taking a local company and helping them to see the own snowball effect in their own business, it's going to be a party. I'm super excited for it.
I'm Chad. I do demand creation here at Snowball, which basically means just do anything to get the buzz out about Snowball. This podcast is my baby. I'm very protective of it. If Christian says anything out of line, he's going to have words with me after. So that's my role here.
That's fantastic. Well, these guys are great, but I really want to introduce our guests. So from Studio Z, we have Zaxter himself. Welcome to the podcast.
Happy to be here, you guys. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, Studio Z is because your name's Zaxter.
Yeah.
You just realized
also,
it's all coming together.
That just came to me.
Can I give you another little snippet with why it's called Studio Z as well then?
Let's do.
So I'm part of Gen Z as well. And so it's kind of made for, people of my similar background, helping them come up and be better men through that. So it's Studio Z after, yes, Zaxter, but I'm also part of Gen Z, which I think is kind of
awesome.
cool.
I didn't know that.
That's fantastic.
Todd, that'd be tough for you to do a studio because it'd be like Studio Baby Boomer.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's Studio X, but Studio
correct.
Baby Boomer.
That's
So
not-
it doesn't quite.
What do you call the generation from 1905?
We call it the people that build the foundation you now stand on. You're welcome.
The newsies.
But our other guest here is Jake. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Jake.
Yeah, I'm Jacob Sardoni. I help Zaxter with Studio Z and also with expansion through the business. So
you're going to be doing a lot of the marketing stuff related on the Studio Z side, right?
Yep, correct.
Awesome.
Marketing, e-commerce, and then any behind-the-scenes stuff that we decide to.
Awesome.
I love it. Well, let's get into it because what we want to accomplish here is we want to learn about Studio Z from both of you. So we're going to inundate you with questions, and we really want to dig down and find out what makes Studio Z tick and what your dreams and goals are. And then we're going to tell you, great, let's see if we can choose one or two of those and make them happen. And we're going to come up with some concrete strategies and just a nice roadmap to help you on the first leg of that journey. So y'all game?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right.
I think one thing I want to mention is like if people are listening to this podcast, like if you're one of the 12 people that we've forced to listen to it, really the point of this is like, hey, number one, we're trying to help a local business to grow, and there's a lot of expertise out there. Locally and nationally, but especially here in Utah in the Silicon Slopes. And so we hope that we're getting a lot of listeners who are local, business people or anyone who has advice that we can, really triage and use to helping Studio Z. So you don't have to be a barber who's trying to start your own barbershop and be like, this is a perfect podcast for me. But anyone who's interested in helping businesses grow, we want you to listen. We hope you learn something, but we especially hope that you can contribute to the expertise and the stuff that we share here on this podcast.
I love that because we've all sat in a barber chair, and if you're thinking, I wish they did X or I wish they did Y, then this is your chance to voice those. And that's what we're going to do, and they're going to be able to do it with us in real time, and they're going to see the entire process unfold. How do we get from where we're at to where we need to go?
I'm especially excited because I don't have the guts nor the capital to start my own small business, but I'm super interested in it. So I can just kind of have all the nice parts of here's here's some ideas, and I'll let the business people try to actually go and implement it. But I think it's way fun. Anyone who has always wanted to start a small business, I think those will be really fun to listen to and to be part of the journey.
Well, I love that. Well, we basically want to take enterprise level strategy and talent and tools and apply it to Studio Z. So let's get to know Studio Z a little bit. So tell us a little bit about how this all came about.
Yeah. My name's Z, like I said, and Studio Z really just comes from a place of wanting to help men become better men, I guess. And that's kind of always been the plan with this. Going through school, I was always a talkative kid and really had a hard time sitting still, and I just knew school was going to be hard for me. And so I thought, what could I do to kind of like get the wiggles out and not be put in a cage or anything. And I decided that I was going to go to hair school. I was kind of running around experimenting with my life, and it took me a little longer. Anyways, I ended up graduating school, and then I got into what I think is probably the most high-end barbershop in Utah. It's a barbershop named Scissor and Bone, and I have a lot of love and respect for those guys and all they've done for me.
We will bleep that name, though.
You think so? That's lame. Don't bleep that name. I'm paying homage right now,
They want to sponsor us, then
that's
sure,
just-
we'll have a conversation
Yeah.
with them.
That's
but
just going to increase interest. They're going to
Yeah.
be like, what is the name of that
Yeah.
company if they had to bleep
That's
it?
our
There's-
first tip for you guys. Never name drop a brand without getting paid by that brand.
I feel you, but there's enough for all of us to eat, right? That's what I think.
That's right.
You're
That's
absolutely
right.
Anyways, I learned a lot of the ways from them, and then I just decided to do my own thing, kind of cut the middleman out, and I started Studio Z out of my house. That was a really fun experience, and my house setup was actually one of the most laid back, fun experiences. Like, I love my barbershop, but like to be able to like work from home but also see humans at the same time.
That was actually cool. I enjoyed that. Yeah, for everyone listening, I am one of Zaxter's clients. I don't know if I said that before. But yeah, when the barbershop in your house is awesome. I love where it is now. The Harley Davidson dealership is awesome, but it was cool when it was in your house. I like that.
So it was out of my house, and my house was awesome. I had a fun time there. I think I was cutting out of my house for like right around a year. And then I had the opportunity to rent out a room inside of the Harley Davidson dealership in Linden. And that was we're coming up on 2 years ago now is when I moved into that spot. And I've been there ever since, and it's just been me, but I've been on the cusp of hiring a couple barbers to come and work with me and build the team. And so it just lined up perfectly where Chad kind of told me about this idea, and I started selling Studio Z. He kind of told me, we're looking for a small business, and I was like, well, Chad, what about my business?
For some reason, I hadn't considered it when considered Studio Z. I was just talking to my barber, and I was like, wait, this is actually kind of perfect.
Yeah.
And it ended up being awesome.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm glad that we actually were able to make it work out, because that would have been really awkward for all those haircuts if we were like, we went with a barber down the street or we went with, Jones house cleaning or something like that and not you. So I'm glad that worked out.
I'm telling you right now, I went and got my haircut from Studio Z last week. And
Should I zoom in on your face? Just
hello. So and I went in not really expecting much, because only place I've ever got my haircut was like Craig's cuts or like dollar cuts or any of those. And so it was such a unique and cool, awesome experience that you made for me. We'll talk more about your experience, as within your barbershop later. But I walked out of there literally with more confidence. And I don't know what to tell you. I went home and my wife loved it. Let me tell you, that's where I'll stop.
What does that?
I don't know. She just loved my hair. So I had the respect of my children. I don't know. They were listening to me. I walked into church and I was kind of feeling it. And I got some double takes. And let me tell you right now, I'm a solid 4 out of 10. So I've seen a double take 3 times in my life, and all of the times I had something on my face. So people were like, man, he's looking good. And I got more comments on my haircut than I've ever gotten.
I love it. That's awesome. So Jake, tell us a little bit about how did you get folded into Studio Z?
So I've been a longtime customer of Zaxter, probably since he was cutting hair through hair school. I don't know, within probably the last 6 months, there was a couple instances in my life where, men's mental health for, family and friends became a pretty big thing. And I've always felt better going to Studio Z confidence-wise. So just one of those things where I feel like, I don't know, the ability to invest in it, the ability to help him grow his business, I think is obviously, just based on his mission statement, a good thing for men's mental health, which is, a big focus for me right now. So ended up lining up, and, hopefully we can grow the dream to help like-minded men, truthfully.
I love that your mission is just really anchored in something bigger.
Yes.
And now let's lift up the hood a little bit and get in there and drill in on a little bit of the short-term stuff. So let's find out a little bit, Chad, about their short-term goals. So take it away, Chad. No, I'll just go ahead.
That's what Chad goes says.
That's my awesome attempt at a transition.
I was sitting here looking at like cameras, and then all of a sudden
That was and then I just threw you on the spot. Let's actually take a step back and look at. Okay, so we got your mission. Let's take a look at where do you hope to be in 5 years? What kind of dent in the universe do you hope to be making?
5-year dream of Studio Z. The main goal I have for Studio Z right now is I want to turn it into essentially a hub, like almost like a middle-class country club is what I want to turn Studio Z into. So think of like long-term goal. We have a place where you have a barbershop. You potentially have like a place you can work out. Maybe you got a restaurant in there, but a one-stop shop for all your self-care needs is kind of what I'm thinking for Studio Z at the moment. That's like the long-term dream.
That like took me back. I was thinking like, I just want to cut more hair, and make more money from it. You guys have a much bigger, wider dream than just expanding just your barber, product line, we'll say.
Yeah.
You want to do much more. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So the reason we wanted to ask about that was actually like, we want that, like, where are you at in 5 to 10 years? Like, what does that look like? What's the dream? We only have 3 months to do this podcast, and it's not like I'm saying we're not going to do those things. I want to know what we can do to support that dream.
For sure.
But also hone in, which brings me to the next question, on the short-term goals that will eventually lead there and can help you get that first step. The reason that as representatives of Snowball, this is exciting for us is because Snowball does customer referrals. And so your customer base and the questions we ask around, like how many customers you have now, how many are you going to need to fill the schedules of these. You guys are hiring 2 new barbers. I think you said that earlier. How many more customers? We want to get specific goals in place during this episode so that we can go after it during this season. Not only with the Snowball's referral program, which will run for you guys. You guys won't have to lift a finger. But yeah, other than referrals, we want to go through those goals. What are some short-term goals that you would think would be good around how many customers you have?
I would say like short-term goals around customers. As far as I would say metrics go, we're probably trying to 3x within the 3 months that we have with you guys. And I think the standard right now from what we've talked about is anywhere from about 175 loyal to 200 loyal customers that we're currently working with. So
with 330 people in the system as well. So lifetime
customers.
people have been 330, about just under 200 active is what we're working with. We're bringing on those 2 other barbers. One's name is TJ. One's name is Court. TJ has been apprenticing me, like on and off, shadowing me for the last year while he's been in hair school. He drives all the way down from Cedar City, comes and shadows me. So I'm bringing these guys on as like team members. I'm not just hiring barbers. We're going to be building an all-star team. And so short-term goals, I would love to see my guys get booked out. I would love to see our merchandise start popping off. I'd love to get a product line underway. And I think within 3 months, we could build the foundation to those things, the e-commerce side, as well as getting those barbers booked out and people in their chair.
Okay, so from 175 to 200 customers to around 525 to 600 customers, including haircuts, and do those customers include, in your minds, e-commerce customers, people who have bought products? Or do you want to make a separate goal for that?
Maybe those e-commerce are like worth a 0.5. Is that fair to say? Is that even a thing?
What do you guys think about
probably
that?
say
I think
around
the
that
way we
mark.
look at this is whenever there's different product lines, it's easier to look at like revenue than it is to look at new customers.
So when we talk about customers, only haircuts, only new hairdo.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay.
The people who are in the chair and who the Studio Z faces we know,
And just to be crystal clear, you're saying right now you're at about 175 of those customers, active customers, right?
Yeah,
And
people
what
who
do you
come
do?
within a year.
Perfect. You just answered my question. So you say an active customer is somebody that sits in your chair every year.
What were our
At
percentages?
least every year.
At least once a year. Yeah.
Well, from 1 to so about, I would say, what did we think? Like, I think it's within a month, like 30% of those people are coming, and then within like 3 months, another 30%. And then within like 7 months, it's probably like another 20%, and then 20% within the final year. Does that make
It
sense?
sure does.
The majority are coming within the first 6 months type of thing,
Yes.
which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually kind of an interesting. It's really a ARR type of like business model. It's a
I don't know what ARR
Sorry,
means.
it's a annual recurring revenue. So like we're looking
Sorry,
at.
I'm a hair cutter.
No, yeah, you're totally good. You're totally good. I honestly, when you said what does it stand for, like my heart dropped. I'm like, I know this, Christian. I dropped it, but I can Google fast. No,
Let's go.
No. So like, because it's interesting, because you're looking at customers, but what you really want to do, ideally, is you want to have those like the recurring revenue. You want those customers not just to be once a year customers. You want them coming in several times. So that's why I think as we look at this, like we'll talk about customers, but the revenue that you're generating from your customers is even more important, because you want your customers to have several haircuts and paying for several haircuts, and ideally paying for products on top of that,
Yeah,
so that we can increase the dollar amount that you're generating from each customer.
Which kind of can lead us. We can just go there from now if you're okay with that, about revenue. Where are you now, and a goal that we can get to, and we can discuss that. But where are you right now? We can start with that.
Do you want real numbers or the numbers that I told the government?
I mean, I could take both, but I mean,
Oh, that'd be so funny if we get like 13 like listeners to this, but just one happens to be the IRS.
They can check me. I'm
Whoops.
clean. I'm really clean.
They're everywhere.
Let me. Do you know them off the top of your head? I can pull up Square right now.
Well,
Figure it
so
out.
I think from
Square,
what we
you owe
looked
me.
at, we did about, or Zaxter had done about 100,000 just through his storefront. The goal right now with e-commerce is to do about 25,000 this year.
Okay.
So that's with a launch and with product set for merch, product, and really anything else that we decide to put on. But right now, those are the biggest things.
But last year, yeah, it was right around 100,000
From haircuts
from haircuts
and merch and product, like
haircuts.
collectively?
Yeah, like the whole. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Great.
total dollar amount of everything. Yeah, but that was. I don't know if I did any merch last year, but I did. I do sell product.
Great.
Yes. So.
Great.
I'm actually really excited about the e-commerce side of this that you guys mentioned. Do you have a website set up yet? Sorry, did we establish the revenue goal? Sorry, I was kind of thinking.
Not the goal yet. I think we've got a nice benchmark of where they're
All right,
at.
sorry, yeah, let's get
I
to
think
that,
of
and
where
then I'll
we're
go
at,
into the.
and then I would love to pivot over to the
Okay,
e-commerce part of that.
First, a short word about next season. Do you know a female-owned small business that could use help getting the snowball rolling? We're on the hunt for a female-owned small business to focus on for Season 2 of the Snowball Effect, and female experts to help us along the way. Reach out to add your business to the list. Now, back to our episode.
So
let's talk goal. Yeah.
I think 100K then is a good baseline of where we're at.
Yep.
And so in a year, where do you hope that is? And then let's talk 3 months.
So the barbering game, if we're talking about the money coming from my, are we just talking about strictly my barbers cutting hair, or are we talking about the e-commerce side too?
Let's do overall, and just to give a gist of the ratio between those two, like
Okay.
what you imagine that is.
I would say barbering's about a 3-year game to build a clientele, in my opinion. The first year, you're not as, you kind of wonder why you did it. The second year, you start paying your bills, and then the third year, you realize why you did what you did. I think that's all small businesses in general, personally, potentially. But I would say my guys, I'll tell the hair cutting side, and then I'll let you talk about the e-commerce side. My 2 team members who are coming in, I would like to see them in a 12-month calendar. I would like to see them probably both, with your guys' help, I'd like to see them making probably $60,000 each. So 120
120 on top.
this first year. Yeah, this first year.
Okay.
I think that's realistic.
Got it.
You know,
So when we're talking about that revenue, we're talking about any revenue that they bring in, we're taking into account the cut that you'll take as the owner of the shop. So
Yeah.
60K at each one of them. And then on top of what you are currently doing with 100, but we're also hoping that your portion will increase as well.
Yeah.
Or you not necessarily want to increase? Are you like pretty much fully at capacity with what you can do?
no, I think this year I will just naturally be in the shop as much as I was last year, or like haircut wise, because I'm not ready to like not accept new clientele at the moment. And so I would say I'll probably hit my same numbers as last year, maybe a little bit more. And then here soon I will be raising my prices, and then that's where that growth can happen. But I think I'll be cutting maybe a tiny bit less, but I think I'll be making just a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, that's why I think we really focus on revenue more than like customer growth, right? Because we can affect revenue in other ways.
I just want to have numbers for every aspect.
No, that's totally
but
good.
you're right, 100%. The revenue is the focus for sure.
And we're looking at mostly the revenue he's doing staying the same, maybe less customers, but increased prices, more merchandise sales, and then 120K on top of that through the revenue brought in from the other barbers.
Okay, yeah.
So this is not quite a 3x that we talked about earlier. It's like more like a 2.2x, but it's something to definitely set as a goal.
Which I would assume that plays out mathematically as well, because a 3x in customers is not a 3x in revenue because of the lower prices with his new barbers, because of the cost of bringing on new barbers, or I don't know what that looks like exactly, but it's assumed that would be less anyway. So that works out in my mind.
Got it.
Can I say one thing real
Yeah.
quick? We're talking a lot about numbers, and Chad, you and I talked about this, but I want to make it very clear right away. When we talk about numbers about our customers who come in, I'm building an army of open-hearted men. You know, I like to make money, and money's great, but I'm just doing this to become more happy and to help others be happy. And I know you guys have that same thing, but for those who are listening, I don't want them to think that like Chad's already told me, like, we're doing this for the love and for the happiness to make this a better place. You know, I want to make a lot more money. I do, because I can do cooler things with it, but like the goal of this is to build something special.
And I think
dollars come with that.
I think that authenticity just oozes out at every single point of contact here. And so it looks like there's kind of two factors here. There's one is the growth, and you can bring in these two other barbers. They can make a healthy living, and you can grow as a business. And then the other is this qualitative type thing where you feel like you're having an impact. And you're not just doing it for the money, but you're actually seeing growth personally and in those people that you interact with. Is that a fair summary? How close did I get?
That is spot on. Hit the nail on the head.
Something I like that you said when we talked earlier about this is the moment it becomes more about money for you than it does about like the relationship with your customers, then you're good to just go back. Which is why I think that this is going to be pretty successful number wise, even though that's not what it's about. The quality you give to all this, the care that you put into all this is going to improve it across the board. It's going to make our job as like the marketing side and Jacob's job as the marketing side really easy because of the way that you are with your clients.
Thank you.
But
when your customers sense that you're doing it for the right reason, they're going to help you grow.
Which brings us into like your online reputation, where it is right now. Is that a good?
I think that's fantastic. Let's pivot over there.
So where you are on social. What is the kind of like outlook on Studio Z as far as your reputation, reviews? What's your review score? How many reviews do you have? Things like that. Yeah. And then goals about like, where could we get you? Like, how many reviews do you want? Do you want me to leave a negative review just to throw it in the mix? Anyways, I'm kidding.
So, with what I've been doing and the work I've put in and how I've been blessed, I haven't needed to really create a social presence to help me gain more clientele. It's really just come super organic. So I would say, what are we looking at? Like
So we've been on Instagram. I think that's probably one of the main socials that we've used thus far. But I think pulling into an avenue of potentially getting on LinkedIn, even through some TikTok stuff. The word of mouth marketing does work great, and the more we can get people out to see what Studio Z does, the more that organic growth I think can occur. So,
and I do want us to hit social hard. I've always been down for that. I haven't put time into it because I haven't needed to. But now that I'm bringing in a team of, hungry dog barbers who are coming in who want to get full and I want to make cool clothes and I want to make cool products, it's game on. Like, open the floodgates. Let's push the social. Let's push all of those platforms. Like, I'm ready to get the name out there. Like, the foundation's been built. It's time to let it roll,
Yeah,
So.
I love that. I think one of the things I think about with like social media is like, I think a lot of times small businesses and even just larger companies approach social media as like, hey, it's something that we should be doing, so let's do it because it's social media, and they just know that's like a marketing channel, and so they do it and they put time and effort and energy into it. And with social media, I think it's important to like make sure that we like, before you do something just to do it, to make sure like, hey, who's my true target customer and where are they and what matters to them and what messages can I send that would actually resonate with them, right?
Yeah, the product needs to be pure.
Yeah, exactly. In some cases that may lead you to like, oh, we can use this marketing channel, we can use this social media platform to do it. Others, it's like, I can avoid this entirely, right? LinkedIn's a good example of that. LinkedIn's so like unique and the type of content that's there and what type of companies do stuff there that it's like that may not be something that we can or should do. I think one of the things that I saw one time, I was driving down the road and it was like a place where you get colonoscopies, and they had like a like a colonoscopist. I don't know what's the title. I don't know.
Doctor.
A doctor.
There you go. They probably prefer that over colonoscopy.
And they had like a little marquee and it said, like us on Facebook. And I just thought in my head, like, who on earth is being like, yeah, I'm going to like my colonoscopist? Like,
especially because that's public and everyone's going to see,
I don't know.
He has a favorite colonoscopist.
I could just know inside that office, it's like, Judy, the youth are on Facebook. We got to make a Facebook profile. Like, do it. But have people like us, So it's like, I just think whatever we do with social media, let's make sure it's super deliberate and intentional and it is really targeted to your customer and makes an impact, and not do it just because we're checking a box.
Yes.
And if we're discussing that right now, you mentioned LinkedIn. I think it's perfect for you guys, honestly. For your clientele, we haven't really got into what's your ideal customer, but LinkedIn is pretty good. I think because of the some of the ideas we've had about you guys doing a podcast, that TikTok is a really good idea. I think you doing like barber thought leadership or like tutorial videos on how to do a haircut would do awesome on TikTok. Cool. Alongside podcast content with video and everything like that.
And I think this is a perfect time to kind of make sure our foundation is solid here. Let me ask you a couple of questions about your let me just ask you a couple of questions about your ideal customer. So describe to me, so that I can visualize them walking into your barber shop, who is the perfect customer for you?
I don't like to cut anybody under 12 years old, but I've definitely done that. So like we've cut like as young as like 1-year-old kids. But I would say like a demographic is honestly like 16 to 75 years old, anywhere in between. And I would say probably most of those people, like whether they're college students who are hungry or like dudes who have been through that process and are a little bit older and who are now returning. And I would say they're people who are, like I said, are really just getting it. There's no really look of these people other than just people who are taking their life seriously. Do you want to comment on that at all?
I think it kind of goes back to what Christian said about companies just doing social media because they know it's a box to check, right? Getting your haircut can kind of seem like that, but more so looking for people that are deliberate in their action. Hey, I want to treat myself right. Kind of that, feel good, look good, play good.
I'm looking at 4 of them right now. Like, all you guys really, like, we probably all feel like we could be doing more. That's correct. We can always be doing more. But you can honestly look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, hey, I'm pretty proud of, like, the man I am, and I do push to take care of myself. you know?
Yeah, I think that's really like just in your price points. I mean, just letting you know, like I never paid more than $20 for a haircut until I went and visited you, and that's just because, like you said, I just saw as it's like my hair is getting really long. Time to get it cut. It's like almost like a chore that I do on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like,
He was like judging between great clips and a chainsaw. He's like,
No,
I don't know. Like, what's the-
I know. I just was okay. What like Tiffany am I going to get my hair cut by today? You know, like so. Visiting with you is it's a higher price point. It's more of an investment. Obviously, you're getting a way better product, but it's for people who really actually are invested in their appearance, and they understand, and not just in a superficial way, but they understand like they're invested in how that contributes to like their confidence and what they're trying to do and the type of other people they're interacting with. So I think there is a higher price point. Not that you're pricing people out with your price point, but that people are serious about their hair. They're visiting with you.
And the beautiful thing about it is it's going to be, I'm only one guy, so I can only do so much. So of course I'm going to charge what people will pay me, right? But I'm excited one day when Studio Z has a plethora of barbers who are charging different prices because they're at different phases of their journey. You know what I mean? I've been doing it for a long time now, so I can charge what I charge because of the demand. But I'm excited to have like some young apprentice in there who's doing $20 haircuts, and I got a high school kid who comes from a poor family, but he works really hard, and he pays that $20 to my apprentice who's working really hard, and that apprentice knocks his hair out of the park and gives him $100 haircut. You know, like I get emotional about it. Like that's what I really want, and I'm excited for. You know, I've reached a point in my life where like, yeah, I can charge $75 a haircut. That's cool, but like I want everyone to be able to do this, you know?
And let's dwell on that for just a second. So you talked about kind of where you're at and your ideal customer as a barber with your experience and the price range that you're in. Mm-hmm. So maybe someone like Christian who's kind of teetering between great clips and really investing and taking pride in who he is and what he looks like. Yeah. I mean, there's Christian on the low end of that that's just barely thinking, am I worth it?
$50 barber who's like 2 years in, you know?
But I love that Great Clips is catching so many strays right now.
I know.
I think like a cease and desist.
They know their business. They know their
what they're
clientele.
doing.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about the other two barbers that we're going to be looking for customers for. Where do they fit on, like, who's their ideal customer? Is it the same as yours? Or is it someone more like Christian and I who are teetering between one of these discount barbershops and yourself?
Yeah, I would say they are going to be, so one of them, his name is TJ, and I think TJ, his skills are a little bit farther along than Court's, and I've discussed that with both of them. So I think TJ right away, we're going to be having him charge $40 a haircut is what I feel good about. Obviously some factors, we're going to look at that. And then Court, he's going to be technically the role, he has a license. He's going to technically be under the role of my apprentice right now, which is going to give him coverage. And we're going to have Court charge $25 a haircut. So what's going to happen from what I've seen in my experience from when I was doing haircuts for free and $25 and $40 and $50 and $65 and now $75, is Court's going to get the toughest clients. He is. Like those dudes who want that cheap haircut, they're the pickiest, you know? And then TJ, once it gets to him, he's going to have more your teeter-totters, guys who are like, they don't know if they can trust it or not yet, but then they'll be like, they try TJ and they're like, oh, I should have been doing this my whole life, just like you the other day, right? Mm-hmm. And then TJ will change their life, and then they'll be with TJ until he's charging $300 a haircut because you'll become loyal to him. And then my type of clientele is like people who just want to sit in the chair and shut up and trust that I'm going to do a good job. Like that's the different price points, I would say.
That was gold.
Cool.
Because that's exactly what I was driving at. Because it sounds like you've got somebody with one barber that's charging $25. This is what I'm hearing. Tell me how close I am. That you've got one barber that's charging $25. Like we're probably taking people from Great Clips and Sam.
Yeah,
you know,
like
from
their
Fantastic
coupon's
Sam.
going to be the same. You know,
that's right.
Like,
They're
sure,
coming
wherever.
in. They want to bring their kids or something like that,
Yeah,
and they're sitting down and they're having that experience. Then you have somebody that like Christian and I of like I'm ready to try this, but I need an experience maybe to convince me that this
Yeah.
is the new way to live.
And you got in TJ while he was fresh, you know?
And then we got people coming to you that are like Chad. They're like, no, this is the only way to do it.
Yeah. But
And
Chad started with me when I was a TJ.
I did.
I love that.
Yeah.
What was it? $20, $30?
It's been 4 years. Yeah. It
And
was
you
like,
just watched him
it
grow
was-
up,
yeah.
and now
I did,
look
yeah,
at him.
yeah.
Now look at him.
I
He's
like the scaling. For some reason, I'm like imagining the Premier League, where like if I'm bad as a customer, you relegate me. You know what I mean?
You're
So
like,
I
you're
like
down to-
feeling. I know that's not how it works, like the opposite business model, but I mean that's an option.
Good thing
You
Ted
could have a
Lasso's
gold.
so
You could have a
famous.
gold
I know.
chair, a gold chair, and a silver chair, and a
Yeah.
bronze chair, and it's like, sorry,
It is kind of tricky though. Like it's a cool opportunity in that you have these different like price points, and so you can pull in. You're not pricing anyone out because of these opportunities, but it is actually tricky in how to communicate this to the customer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, are you cheap? Great, TJ's for you. Go sit in the corner.
It's so hard for me to
TJ's
get my
just
business
figuring
card.
it out.
Yeah.
Give him a go.
When
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
asks me, they're like, "Oh, you're a barber? Like, maybe I'll have to come see you sometime." I like kind of roll my eyes because it's like, how do I explain that I charge $75 to them? Like, it's just, it's tough, man. Like, but I've gotten to a point now where I just really don't care anymore. But like, they're like, "What do you charge?" I'm like, $75.
Well,
They're
the
like,
work
"Oh."
speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Quite
and I
honestly,
just
though.
got to get you in the chair one time, you know, and then you'll see the value.
Yeah.
And that's where I can really see in getting, as you talked earlier, Christian, about it's just talking dollars and cents now is just like how much revenue is each bringing in.
Yeah.
A $25 haircut is going to be different than a $75 haircut, but how can we win them? You know, you get somebody in the door at a $25 haircut. How can you then upgrade them, upsell them? They see Chad over there getting his neck shaved with a straight blade, and they're like, I want that experience. You know, so this is super helpful for us as we start thinking about how could we message and how could we market this
Because
to the
there's
world.
no demographic. It's everyone. You know, the field is white and ready to harvest. Like
And-
we're gonna have barbers of every. Like, it's game on.
Yeah.
And as we get into our marketing discussions, I'll push back gently on that a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
As
Yeah,
far
of
as
course,
like, hey,
of
we
course.
can't go after the whole world.
Yes.
But I think we can make sure our message matches each one of your barbers really specifically. So I'm
Yes,
really
I
excited
agree
for that.
100%.
Great. So thanks for helping us get to know your
Yes.
customer a little bit. That's super helpful. How do your customers find out about you right now? How do you get new customers?
I would say mostly word of mouth. Going back real quick to a couple questions ago where we were talking about social media and reviews. I've got, I think, 40 of the most pure, potent reviews you will ever read. Like the nicest, like I read them and the things people say about me, like it literally brings like
They're very
chokes
good
me up.
reviews.
I was reading them. I'm
Yeah.
like, was this a haiku? Like, this is so beautiful.
It seems fake, but it's like it's just really raw, and I'm just like it. Like I put in a lot of work, and it makes me happy that people feel that way, you know. So I've got 40 really good reviews. So like, I get people who see a review now and again, but it's 90%, 95% word of mouth right now.
And I assume that's like mostly passive word of mouth. I don't know if that's a phrase, but like, are you actively doing things where you're like asking your current customers, or what do you actively do for that word of mouth?
Are you soliciting referrals from them?
No, it's super organic. I always carry a business card on me though. I always keep that thing on me. Like any person I meet.
Has that
if-
been pretty successful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been really successful. And so I actually have a list of expectations for my barbers coming in.
That's cool.
And one of the things on their expectation is carrying business cards and every day passing out business cards. And it's not in a fake way. It's like, hey man, you have great hair. Like I would love to get my hands on that sometime. Here's my card. If you ever want to come to me, great. So I would say a lot of stuff like that. That's really other than that, word of mouth, business cards. And I haven't had to push for that word of mouth. People have been awesome.
Well, this says a lot about you and your service. Your craft, even, is that without deliberate word of mouth marketing
That's why I'm
efforts,
excited. He's like, he
they're
hasn't
coming.
even tried, and
Yeah.
he has perfect reviews. And I know with the customer loyalty, is like the referrals is going to be awesome.
We add some fuel to this. Right now, you're getting referrals and growing business because you fell backward into it because your service is so good. That's a wonderful foundation to have.
Thank
We
you.
add some fuel to that and some intentional like tools to that, and I think there's a lot here we can work with.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
pretty crazy. Like at Snowball, we're in the business of getting companies referrals and reviews. And so we know those worlds like the back of our hands. And in reviews, if you're not actively soliciting for reviews, like your happy customers for their reviews, you're just going to get organic reviews. So reviews from just people who you didn't ask for it. And 4 to 5 times an organic review is negative.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So because most people don't leave reviews because they just had like a nice, pleasant experience. Most people leave reviews because it's like they want to punish a company that they felt mistreated them. They want to like have a cathartic experience of getting something off their chest. And so that's why it's so important for companies to be proactive in soliciting reviews from their happy customers. Because if you're not, just those natural organic reviews are going to come in, and it's not going to be a fair representation of your brand. So what I think is amazing about you guys is you're not really proactive in soliciting reviews, but you're still getting 5-star reviews. It's a testament to who you are, and now we can use that and we can like militarize your reputation to actually start driving new customers into your door. Because it's not enough just to get those good reviews. You have to have a process of turning those happy customers into more customers, and that's what we're going to be talking about and really focusing on with you guys.
Those companies that do it right, they benefit from the snowball effect better than anyone else. Let's really put a bow on this and get super specific before we close here about where we want to end up in this engagement over the next few months. So we talked about number of customers, we talked about revenue, more importantly, we've talked about reviews and some of the opportunity, and we're going to get into strategy, and we're going to get all crazy in future episodes about strategy. But let's talk about where do we want to end up. So in 3 months, if things go really well, like so well that Christian's walking in with pull-off pants and there's fog machines and you're super excited and you're like, we crushed it for y'all.
I already have the pull-off pants.
We're going to do that.
Fog machines
It's happening. Yeah.
I got you on the fog machine.
Yeah.
So if we just crush it here in the next 2-3 months, what are we looking at as far as customers and as far as revenue?
As far as customers and as far as revenue goes, I would say like kind of what we started out with, a solid 2x. I think it's definitely possible within the 3-month mark. I see the professionalism coming from the snowball effect, truthfully, and it's blown me out of the water. So as far as the goals that we've made, every one that we've made so far, we've been able to attain way earlier than we thought. Like Chad's saying, things are just falling into place. So we would love to 2x the business within 3 months if possible.
I love that. I want to definitely us, like, as well as like the growth of customers, like the e-commerce side. I think after 3 months we could have really a foundation on a really potent, cool, like product line, merch, like actual streetwear lifestyle company.
So you want that website up and running in 3 months? Yeah, we can definitely help with that.
Like I've already got shirts that'll be made within the next few days.
You've
so we
got
have
the
our
product.
first. Like I'm already working on product lines right now.
Perfect.
So like I think at 3 months we could have like our product line and our,
And I love this. This is aggressive, and I love it. So we're talking 2x revenue in 3 months. And I'll tell you right now, with what it takes to grow things, like that would be super aggressive, and like because things.
I'm excited to go after it.
Things take a minute. Things can take a minute, but great if that's a lodestar that we can put out there and say let's shoot for that. Why not? Why not? But I'll tell you right now, that is super aggressive.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's important, and it actually comes back to the title of our company and of this podcast, is the snowball effect, right? So what we're trying to do is establish practices, both marketing and word-of-mouth practices, that have a snowball effect, that as you do it and you're pleasing your customers and getting referrals from them, that just continues to roll down the mountain and gain momentum and build up steam. 3 months is not enough for that full snowball effect to be realized, really, for any company. But we have no doubt that the ball will be rolling down the mountain and picking up steam and momentum, and that will be yielded in quantifiable results of things we can show of like what percentage we've increased, and also in more qualitative results about, hey, we've delivered a working website and things such as that, or hey, we can see the path to getting this now. So I'm very confident we'll be able to do that and see the full snowball effect realized.
Yeah, cool. I'm happy about the goal. I think it definitely is a stretch, like Todd was saying. But yeah, with that snowball effect taken into account, some of those goals we're just going to get the ball rolling. Yeah. Some of those goals I am really excited to get after and like actually achieve.
If we come up short, we'll get the
Well,
next
I mean,
one.
we're
You know,
we're doing,
run it back.
then
you know?
we're season 2, Studio Z. Another
Yeah.
3. I'm just kidding.
But here's what I'm really excited about is really putting into place some foundational pieces that are rolling towards
Yes,
that.
for sure.
Totally.
Can we 2x that in 3 months? I'll be perfectly honest, probably not.
And I was running numbers in my head, just barely like it'd be tough. 3 months, that's pretty tough. But I wouldn't doubt Jake either.
Let's go after it.
And
I
our
don't think you
listeners,
are.
and our
Yeah,
listeners,
yeah.
because they've got ideas
Yeah,
on how to
yeah.
do this. So what can they add to the pot here that could really help 2x this?
We do plan on leaning on LinkedIn, like doing polls. What do they want us to do? Do these crazy
Yeah.
marketing campaigns or
'Cause
projects
they
or
might buy
videos.
all of our shirts.
There you go,
Just
there
to
you go,
support.
there you
And then
go.
there were 2x our
There you
revenue
go.
in 3 months. I don't know.
I'm
Who
just
knows?
throwing out, like, I have 9 siblings and like 39 nephews and nieces. So just my family alone, Todd, you're one of 10 as well.
We're 2x in
Let's
this thing
just
just
mobilize
between.
the family, right?
All right, scrap
I
rest of
think
the
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
the
We'll
thing
just make phone
I
calls.
gotta get my barbers in fighting shape. They've got to be
Yeah.
like they're. I think that's what it's really. Once they're primed, like they can take on that workload, and they want that workload.
Cool.
So
It's-
no.
Yeah.
And here's the last thing I'll say about this, because I'm really excited about that ambitious goal, is more valuable than 2x in 3 months is the foundation and the snowball rolling. So
Yes.
you can 5x, you can 6x in a few more months
Yeah.
after
2 to
that.
a 4.
That's going to be more
8 to a
valuable, right?
16
Oh,
to
and
32.
I think that's why we're so thankful to be working with Snowball in
Yes.
that regard too, right? I think you guys
Fantastic.
have seen the foundation it takes to really get something moving. So.
I love it.
A couple of last goals, honing in just a little bit more. Is it fair to say that you'd like to have a podcast up and running by the end of this season of your own? Like a
Yes.
teach a man to
Yeah.
fish type of thing.
100%.
That's a good goal that I know we can achieve that one. We can do that. Social media, get those accounts up and running. Get to like a respectable follower count, whatever that would end up looking like. We don't need to come up with a number. Am I missing anything? We got the website. We got the referral program.
I love the idea of us teaching man to fish, of like teaching people how to do a podcast because we don't really know what we're doing in a podcast.
Our camera just ran out.
Teach a man to fish while we learn.
It's like basically we own microphones, so you can trust us. Our expertise is pretty much low there, but yeah, we'll show you how to turn on microphones.
Don't fool us. Have you guys heard of that treasure hunt podcast? Those guys kill it.
Yeah.
A couple thousand
We're going to
listeners.
keep that under wraps.
We don't have to talk about that.
The last thing I'm going to say real quick is I just want to talk about like some of the pitfalls of hypergrowth, right? When you're talking about small businesses that are trying to have a hypergrowth experience, is number one is that it's going to lead to a higher increase in your cost. And so that why revenue will go up, profit margins will go down, and profit will become negative, and that will lead to financial or like cash burn issues that are become tied there. I don't think that's going to be a problem here because we're not really dealing with COGS and like things like that would lead to normally negative effects of hypergrowth.
All of these projects or these goals we're going after are $0 budget, basically.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to be a concern, but part two is a concern is that there's going to be a degradation of the quality of product that is produced, right?
That's right.
So with new barbers coming in and with some of these new strategies we have to make sure that we're not getting these people in the door just one time for one haircut, but that they're going to be loyal customers and that there is not a drop off in the quality that they're experiencing that you've come to really have some personal pride for. So I think that's something we have to keep as a goal as well, because that's not always shown out in short-term numbers. We got to make sure that the quality of product and the experience that your consumers are having that's the same high quality that you're having right now.
The product needs to stay pure. I will not press on the gas unless it's as pure as it is.
That's right. You've got to take care of the current customers and make sure their experience is top notch
Yeah.
before you worry about going out and getting others.
I'm loyal to the ones who are loyal to me, so that will,
And I think that means even at the cost of growth. It's like you'd rather keep these because at the end of the day, your current happy customers, they're the foundation of your future healthy growth.
Yeah.
That is sustainable, that's predictable, and that you can really count on. And so I think that really underlines what Christian said there. So any final questions that the two of you have for us before we let you go?
I feel good about everything. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Thanks for having us, guys. This is sick. You guys are awesome. I'm a big fan. This is going to be awesome.
It's going to be so awesome. I don't even want to like hype it up too much because this is day one, but I am just like all fluttered and pumped. Like it's going to be just incredible experience. You guys are amazing. You've already have a foundation of an incredible company. We're just going to come and we're going to add to that and throw a little bit of propane on that fire that's already, roaring, and just see this explode. And it's going to be a blast to be a part of. And I'm really excited for anyone who's going to listen to be a part of it too. And like I said, hopefully contributors, because you know what? Todd, Chad, and I, we have some marketing experience. We have some things that we specialize in, but we haven't ever started a business ourselves. We haven't been in the chair that you're on. We're not entrepreneurs in that sense. So we're going to really rely on our network, on the listeners here, of these amazing entrepreneurs in Utah to come in and provide that high level expertise and just pass that along to you.
Sorry. Honestly, we need to do that. We need to lean on them because just real quick, one of the selfish reasons I'm excited about doing this is just to see if I'm actually good at my job. I've worked at the same place for 5 years. I have no idea if I'm actually good at my job.
So we're very curious on your company.
Thanks for, and I can attest for Chad. He is good at his job.
I've been cutting Chad's hair for 4 years. He's as real as they get, and I would, I trust you with a lot of things, Chad. So this is easy. This is easy.
Kidding.
I think Christian just coined a term here: fluttered and pumped.
Yeah.
So if everyone here is fluttered and pumped, then I think we're off to a really good start.
Chad,
Hashtag fluttered and pumped.
Chad, what you don't know is that we're also treating this experience to find out if you're good at your job.
So 2x in 3 months, and we'll know.
Chad, you will be the next Joe Rogan. I promise.
Okay, perfect.
Let's go.
That's funny.
Hey, thank you both for joining. Thanks for being so open and opening the kimono a little bit and letting us into the business and helping us understand a little bit.
That expression.
What do you mean you don't get it?
I don't get it when they say open the kimono.
It's reveal. It
feels like what a flasher does.
It is what a flasher does.
Why is it said in a positive way?
Because you're getting behind the scenes. You're seeing the junk.
I know, but ew. Gross. I always just think it's like the guy who's like, hey, you want any sundials?
Listen, ladies, you're both pretty, okay?
Okay, so that we could pop the hood and look a little bit into your business. Thank you. We had a lot of fun doing it. I'm really excited for us now. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going back and throwing some stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. We're going to come back to you with some ideas, and let's see what we can offer and what will work and what will not. And I guarantee you, some of it will work and some of it won't, and we'll iterate and we'll try again. And so that's what gets me really excited about this. So that's it for the Snowball Effect podcast. Thank you both. Zaxter and Jacob, you guys are awesome. Thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
Happy to be here. Let's win together, baby.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it.